Oh yes, I'll see you in the rapture. I'll see you in the rapture. I'll see you at the meeting in the air.
This is Evangelist Henry Walker. Welcome to the podcast. In this message today, I want to talk about some more pre-rapture signs, especially in the area of technology. But let's go to the Father in prayer first. Father, I thank you for another opportunity to minister to your people, Father. I ask you to use me just the way you want, Father. Let me say only what you want me to say, nothing more and nothing less. Help people, Father, to open up their spirits and not only receive the word, but study the word for themselves. And Father, we give you all the praise and the honor, Father, in the mighty name of Yeshua, by the blood of Yeshua. Please turn with me to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. And as you're turning there, I want to remind you that if you enjoy these podcasts, share, subscribe, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you can email me at contact, CONTACT, at henrywalker.org. And at henrywalker.org, there's about 300 written messages. And at the bottom of the written message page are 2 free books you can download, Noon, and Is the Trinity Really a Mystery? Explaining the Trinity. But again, today I want to talk about some more pre-rapture signs. A special thanks to Pastor Billy Crone for some special information that he gave me in this message. Again, especially in the area of technology. We're so close to Yeshua coming back in the rapture. And you can see these signs that I'm about to go over. It is so close. It's going to be so terrible for those people who are left behind. Matthew 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And if Yeshua is saying that the tribulation is going to be great, it's going to be great. Right now, technology machinery is being set up by the spirit of Antichrist to give control to the Antichrist. Now, with this World Economic Forum, they have a 2030 agenda. They want to take all humanity and create a one-world government, a one-world religion, a cashless society that leads to the mark of the beast. They're actually getting to a point where their agenda is that the whole hand becomes a credit card. And you can see how people are using their hand scans to buy certain things in stores. But in 2013, the Klaus Schwab was being interviewed. He talked about putting brain chips in people's heads. And he actually mentioned by doing that, he could test an audience reaction to what he's saying through these brain chips. And they have an IoT, which is an Internet of Things, which concerns the external monitoring of everything and people too. The Internet of Things, it's an external monitoring. But besides that, they have an IOB, Internet of the body. Inside the body, they want to have surveillance by putting a brain chip inside the body, inside the brain. And the pitch that they're going to have is that, hey, we can detect if a person's having a heart attack and they can go right to the hospital right away. That's their pitch that they're using. They want to begin to genetically modify people for their good, quote unquote. And this brain chip can read thoughts and place thoughts in people. And people will know if it's their thoughts or these thoughts from this brain chip. It's going to be so bad. And it's all pointing to the soon rapture with Yeshua. But people, they need to turn to the Father right now, surrender everything to Him, ask the Father to come into their spirits, fill them with His Spirit, mortify the deeds of the flesh, and every day make them more and more like Yeshua, bringing the fruit of the Spirit out of their lives. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. And allow Him, as I said, to work on them every day. And so with this brain chip, they can delete thoughts. And they're going to try to use this kind of a pitch. They can delete depressing thoughts, PTSD. They can help people who lost their sight, people who have maybe lost limbs. It's all part of a pitch they're going to use. But it's the whole purpose by these brain chips is to control. It's going to be so hard for some people during the tribulation to surrender to Yeshua. They might be thinking about a thought that the grandmother told them about Yeshua, and all of a sudden, these brain chips being controlled by individuals will wipe out that thought, delete that thought. It is scary if somebody doesn't know Yeshua. And actually, there's a whistleblower from the CIA that they say they have a brain machine, and he interfaced with a 16-year-old girl and had her play the guitar and controlled her body movements by this brain machine with a brain chip in this 16-year-old girl. So you can see why Yeshua said that these days should be shortened. Now, Elon Musk is not our friend. He's an enemy. He's already got the approval of his brain chip by the FDA. And that's what Neuralink is all about. He's going to try to promote it by saying it's simple. It's an outpatient type of thing. It's like getting LASIK surgery on the eyes. You're in and you're out. It's all right here, right now. It's not coming down the road. It's all right here, right now. So we need to make sure that we're ready by allowing the Father to work on us every day. And actually, on the Sabbath, from Friday 6 p.m. to Saturday 6 p.m., let Him finish that operation for the week. And on Saturday 6 p.m., give us that power for the week up ahead. Remember, there's a relationship between the Sabbath and Sunday, the first day of the week. It's on a previous podcast. Remember Acts 16, Paul and Silas were arrested on the Sabbath, and on the Sabbath they were praising the Father, resting in Him. On Saturday night at midnight, which is the first day of the week, the earthquake came and busted them all loose, gave them more power. Don't be on one side or the other with the Sabbath and Sunday. They work together. It really talks in the Word mostly about the seventh day of the week and the first day of the week. It's there because Yeshua wants that connection to be in us between the Sabbath and the first day of the week. Sunday is not the Sabbath. It's the first day of the week. And remember, in the first day of the week in creation, He created light and He separated light from the darkness. The first day of the week is so important, too, that Yeshua separates Satan from us. You need to reinforce that if you're being attacked at any time, that we have been separated from you, Satan, on the first day of creation, on the first day of the week, when the Father separated light from darkness. And you can see on the picture on my podcast, I have this darkness and then the rapture in white. The world is in darkness. There's no darkness around us. We're in the world, but not of the world. And we'll be taken out of this dark world by Yeshua very shortly. So again, Musk has this Neuralink, and it'd be like an outpatient type of thing so quickly. And people with paraplegics, they'll get their mobility back. This is how they're going to pitch it. No physical limitations. It's all part of the spirit of Antichrist to keep people from going to heaven. All Satan's desire is right now to take as many people to hell with him to hurt the Father and to take people even out of the Father's family down to hell. That's why it's so important in our relationship to the Father through Yeshua, that if there's anything that's not in the Word, any pagan tradition that's in our lives that's not in the Word, not by the Father, to ask the Father, get it out of our lives and surrender. And I also have a message on my website about wine is a mocker. And CNN actually did a study that one glass of wine affects the brain cells. CNN of all people. So wine is a mocker is a written message on my website at henrywalker.org. And on the last podcast, I talked about that. Wine is a mocker and strong drink is raging. And the word end is really even. Wine can lead to strong drink. Yeshua never changed the water into intoxicating wine. Why would it? To hurt the people? No, Yeshua came to heal. But he used to squeeze the grapes, boil the juice, make it into a gel, and put it into a new wineskin so it wouldn't ferment. And then when they wanted a drink, they would squeeze the gel and add water. That's exactly what Yeshua did on the wedding feast of Cana. He made the gels, and now you fill it up with water. Be careful, because the same word in the Old Testament, the Hebrew word Intoxicating wine and grape juice is the same word, same in the New Testament and the Greek. So you have to read what's being talked about in the word to find out whether it's intoxicating wine or grape juice. Noah's daughter's getting him drunk on wine. That's intoxicating wine. Little children crying out for wine. That's grape juice. Matter of fact, they call the grapes on the tree wine. And intoxicating wine is not a symbol of Yeshua's blood. It's dead grapes. So read the message. Listen to the last podcast. It'll help you. You don't want Satan involved in your life in any way. You don't want to pour that stuff into your body. Even the fathers using liquor stores to advertise beer, wine, and spirits. You don't want to put those spirits into your body. But it's up to you. I'm just telling you that it's a sign of the soon coming rapture, because so many people at their dinner tables have this wine. It's become so important to so many people. They use it for a stress releaser as opposed to Yeshua. Again, the choice is up to you. But to me, it's a pre-rapture sign. That Satan is trying to break that connection with the Father speaking to people by affecting their brain cells, especially ministers. If you're under a minister that drinks wine, intoxicating wine, there's already an interference between what the Father wants to say to that person to preach. So be careful. Getting back to Elon Musk, he has a Starlink satellite system. He's been launching satellites all over the globe, and so fast and quickly. He's got all these rockets to do so. He's setting up an internet matrix all over the world. He ties all the microchips together, whether they're outside a person or inside a person. So all these microchips, again, inside or outside a person, will be monitored by this Starlink. And all buying and selling, all their thoughts will be studied and analyzed by AI, artificial intelligence. And this can monitor everybody. Remember where it says in Revelation 22, verse 16, Yeshua says he's the morning star? That was added by the King James people. Because in Isaiah 14, it says, Satan is the morning star. And that a space station that they have up there is called the morning star. It's not an accident. I believe it's an excellent possibility that Satan will be in that space station as things are happening in the world, like supervising, looking down on the world. That's an opinion. But things are being set up. It's so important to draw closer to the Father and focus only on Him. And so they're going to try to pitch this system by saying he can have great internet all over the world, anywhere you are, in the mountains, anywhere. But Yeshua is warning people, you don't have to go through this. Surrender everything to me. He says to the church of Philadelphia, I'm going to keep you from the great tribulation that's going to come upon the whole world. And so many people are going to get the mark during the tribulation because they're now controlled by these brain chips. And they actually were trying to figure out a way to keep these brain chips going. If they can't put a battery in there, it could harm the person. They figured that they could do it by temperature fluctuation. And the best place to measure the temperature is in the forehead or the right hand. Remember when we were kids, our mother used to put the back of her right hand on our forehead to check our temperature. So this temperature fluctuation will enable the chips to stay in power. It's incredible what they're doing already. Again, it's so important to surrender to Him and make sure that there's nothing in our lives that's not from Him. And as good as some of us think we are, man, we need Him every day to make us more and more like Yeshua. It's all about surrendering. During the tribulation, they're going to surrender to the Antichrist. We need to stay surrendered to the Father through Yeshua right now. They want to offer people upgrades by these brain chips. You know, and there's so much in the computer area right now and the cell phone area, smartphones. Get an upgrade. It's all part of the enemy. It's all part of the spirit of Antichrist, setting things up for the Antichrist. They want to have kids say, hey, you could be superhuman but with this brain chips. You can get an upgrade. They want to create a whole new humanity in their own image, not the Father's image. They call it Human 2.0. They also call it augmented humanity. They also call it post-human. And they're going to say, do you want an upgrade to people? It's right here. If you go to Revelation chapter 13 with me, and the reason why Yeshua wants me to do this message is that to let us know he's coming back soon. And these signs are pointing to his soon coming for us in the rapture. So get ready. Revelation chapter 13, verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. The whole world. And go back to verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. You know, in New York City, there's some kind of play or movie about the dragon. And he got these dragons over so many parts of the city. By Grand Central Station, the Empire State Building, and it's not by accident, because it's so close to the dragon, Satan, with the spirit of Antichrist, introducing this Antichrist, who's already operating in the world. He's already operating right now, behind the scenes. He's using people up front, but he's the one that's doing it behind the scenes. In verse 3, I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, the whole world, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So many people are going to get the mark. And once they get that mark, they can't go to heaven. They're bound for hell. They cease to be human with all this control that's ready to happen. That's already in the works. And Father warned us about this thousands of years ago. His word never changes. He knew all this was going to happen. He's allowing it to happen. He's given Satan some power in these last days for a certain period of time. But he wants his people to come out of this world of darkness, again, which is not around us. We're in the world, but not of the world, and to go with him in the rapture. So get ready. See these signs and tell other people about these signs. Warn them. And not only that, the World Economic Forum wants 10 regions to be set up. That the world will be in 10 regions. Revelation 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Back in the 60s, the Club of Rome was talking about dividing the world into 10 regions. Then later on, the European Union, same 10 regions. The UN, same 10 regions. But they also decided who will be the rulers in these 10 regions. It's so close. And already, under the current administration, they're talking about America, Canada, and Mexico becoming the North American Union. They're talking about the Asian Union, the African Union. And so America is going to lose all its sovereignty. It's all being set up right now by the current administration. And not only that, the U.S. Department of Commerce, National Institute of Standards and Technology, they're tailoring their digital guidelines to better support public benefits programs. So people get benefits from the government. There's a digital ID that's ready to come. And so we just got to be careful, protect our privacy. In dealing with these smartphones, I mean, they're good for a certain purpose, but now people can track people on their smartphones. And there's a survey that was done that kids who had no social media for 1 week, their depression dropped by 33 1/3%. And 3 weeks of no media or 30 minutes a day, all the depression was gone in that 3-week period of time. Right now, on the average, people spend about 11 hours a day on social media. People that they don't want to know about them are learning about them. And actually, they took a survey that 80% of believers don't read the word daily. And 60% don't read the word weekly. 40% read the word once a week. And a high percentage only reads the word every 2 or 3 months. But they can spend 11 hours a day on social media. There's a true story about this camp counselor that took some 5th graders on a camping trip. And he said, no cell phones. No cell phones are allowed. And as the time was going on, kids were having withdrawal symptoms, shaking, depression. But at the end of the 3 weeks, they all came to the camp counselor and said, thank you for not allowing us to have cell phones. We learned so much more about people. We connected with people individually. It was so great. So even though cell phones, smartphones can be used to certain benefits, social media can become so very addictive. It's just all part of the spirit of Antichrist, getting people ready for the Antichrist. You have to be very, very careful. Especially these 5G networks. They want to develop smart cities and 15-minute cities. They want to monitor every aspect of life, from daily routine to purchasing behaviors. These health monitoring devices that can save lives, but it could interfere with privacy and have control by the government or some corporations. And cryptocurrency. Remember, I mentioned before in the podcast that the patent for cryptocurrency, the last 3 digits are 666. And crypto comes from a mausoleum, a burial mausoleum. It's set up for secrecy, but it runs on blockchain, which will eventually be used by the Antichrist. Right now they have face recognition to get on there, hand scans, biometrical scans. And digital currency is very close. It can be used for control. And people can't buy or sell unless they are an acceptance of the Antichrist system. It's being set up right now by the spirit of Antichrist. And so loyalty to the Antichrist is necessary to participate economically. These things are happening. And it's important for us to recognize it. And in Bangkok, Thailand, at train stations, if the train is not in the station, they put up a glass wall because so many people have the cell phone in their ear and they're walking onto the tracks. That's how bad it is. Matter of fact, this robber went on a train to rob people on the train. He was shouting, this is a holdup, and everybody had their smartphones to their ear. They didn't hear him. He just ran off the train. That's how bad it is. See, don't let this end-time technology compromise your ethical and moral beliefs. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, it says, in the latter times, knowledge will increase. And also, people are going to run to and fro. How many people can just travel just like that so quickly? These fast planes travel so quickly. 100 years ago, it was horse and buggy. But it's such an increase in knowledge every day. Some of the other things I want to talk about, besides the technology, is the fact there's a unification of religion going on right now. Pope Francis is active in this, and they're using it. We can have world peace. But with all these religions, it could dilute the central role of Yeshua. The truth will be diluted. This is all being set up. It will lead to a world religion being led by the Antichrist. Another situation that's happening is that there's a weapons buildup. Right now, there are 9 nations that have 15,000 warheads, and they have 1,800 at their disposal right now. You can see in North Korea, they spent hundreds of billions of dollars on weapons, but 6 to 8 million people are starving. And then you can also see in Ezekiel 38, Gog and Magog is another pre-rapture sign. The alliance between Russia, Iran, and Turkey is already here. Another sign I want to mention to you is the hatred of the Jews. Go to the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke. There's so much hatred of the Jews. Luke 21. And here's Yeshua talking to the Jewish people. Luke chapter 21, verse 17. And you shall be hated of all people for my name's sake, but there shall not a hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls. And when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Remember, only 1/3 of the Jewish people in Israel will survive what the Antichrist is going to do in the middle of the tribulation. Go to the book of Zechariah with me. Just go to the left, right past Malachi. Next book after Malachi. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 3. Zechariah chapter 12, verse 2. Behold, I'll make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about it, when it shall be in a siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. Everybody, it seems, is against Israel. United Nations, nobody votes for Israel. They all vote against Israel except the United States. Verse 3, and in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. All the people in the earth. So again, this message is just to let people know that Yeshua is coming back shortly, and to be ready and to look at these signs that his return, his coming is so soon, and to make sure that you protect your private information as best you can. Protect it and know what the enemy is about. The spirit of Antichrist is about trying to control you, and have all these plans already started. They want to control people with the chips in the body, but also in the brain chips. Elon Musk is the champion of all this, even though he says otherwise. And the enemy is using him. As some of you may or may not know, this is a pro-life ministry. We believe that life begins at conception. The Father is the agent of conception. Every podcast, I pray for the babies in the womb. Remember, with the babies in their womb, their hearts begin to beat around 18 days, and around 4 months, their hearts are pumping about 25 quarts of blood per day. This is a life, not a tissue. So I'm going to pray for the babies in the womb if you want to join with me. Father, I ask you to touch the babies in the womb, Father. Bring them to a full birth. And Father, we give you all the praise and the honor, Father, in the mighty name of Yeshua, by the blood of Yeshua. And if any of you who are listening had an abortion, repent. Ask the Father to forgive you and go on and follow him into purpose and destiny, and don't look back. Also in every podcast, I mention if Satan or your flesh is giving you any thoughts that are contrary to the Father's word, just say out loud. Say, Yeshua, I thank you for the crown of thorns around your head. That was for me. That means my mind is protected by your blood. I only think your thoughts. And give those thoughts to the Father and go on. So again, thank you for listening to this podcast. And remember to next time, this is Evangelist Henry Walker saying, greater is the Father in you, your daddy, the King of the universe, than anything or anybody in the world.
Oh,